He's a man, such a man, such a man. He's a real man's man. He's a man, such a man.
Welcome back to ULTRASPECTICUS, a journey through classic Ultraman. When we last left our hero, he was fighting Godzilla with a bad paint job. Excuse me, a mad scientist creation. Our hero won today with the Ultra Chop. Yeah, I made an eensy-weensy goof last time, and some of you people didn't waste a minute correcting me. That was an Ultra Chop, not an Ultra Slash. In my defense, a lot of these attacks start with Ultra. Ultra Slash, Ultra Chop, Ultra Beam, Ultra Meat Lovers combo with extra cheese. Point is, I'm not perfect. I slip up every now and then. Moving right along, what dangers await Ultraman around the bend this time? In episode 11, The Rascal from Space, Hoshino and his friends see a shooting star and find a strange stone that turns into whatever the person thinks. He brings it to the crew for analysis, where it's discovered to be a living rock. I don't know, you sure it's not classic rock? Later it's stolen by a thief who turns it into a liquid, then a rocket, then a monster. Brainwave monster Gongo. He uses this monster to play tricks on people.
What the hell was that?
He then wishes the monster giant-sized. Unfortunately, he doesn't do this outside, and the ensuing chaos renders him unconscious, and he can't unwish it away. And, you guessed it, the crew has to deal with it now. In episode 12, Cry of the Mummy, an archaeological dig unearths, what else? A 7,000-year-old perfectly preserved mummy. I guess no one here watched the Universal horror movies or the more recent Hammer films, or they would realize this is a bad idea. The crew is called in to watch it, but wait, shouldn't it be in a sarcophagus or something? Okay, who put a gorilla mask on the 7,000-year-old mummy? Real mature, guys. Well, later at the Science Center, big surprise, the mummy revives and escapes. See, I told you! The mummy kills the inept guard and then the lab assistant with laser eyes. The crew goes after it and is ordered to capture it alive. Good luck! You'll need it! The spider shot brings it down, but at the same time a giant monster rises out of the same cave the mummy was found in. Mummy Monster Dodongo. Wait, Dodongo? Oh, now I have to play this.
Great! I can't wait to bomb some Dodongos!
Seems the dying cries of the mummy man awakened him and now he wants revenge. Guess he's the mummy's pet? Dodongo has the same laser eyes as the mummy, so Arashi hatches a plan to blind it. giving Hayata a chance to sneak off and naturally become you-know-who. After this ordeal, Ide becomes even more curious about Hayata's possible dual identity.
こんなになると初めから分かってればね。かわいそうなことをしたよ。おかしいな。あいつ本当にウルトラマンじゃないのかな。
In episode 13, Oil SOS, oil tankers are catching fire and exploding, not just in Japan, but in the Middle East as well. Sure enough, a monster's behind this. It was spotted one night by a drunk worker who witnesses a tanker truck being blown up by said monster, but of course, no one believes him. The crew is ordered to patrol Tokyo Bay anyway and find nada. Cap thinks he may be telling the truth and that the truck is connected to the oil field explosions. And right on cue, the monster attacks a tanker in the sea. Oil monster Pestar. Cap decides to lure Pestar out to sea away from the nearby oil refinery after they deduce that it is feeding on and therefore filled with oil, and is basically a living bomb. Once they're out far enough, they drop several drums of oil into the sea. I think this is doing more harm than good. I mean, you guys are gonna clean that up, right? Ide accidentally opens fire, which forces the monster onto land where it attacks a refinery. They try to shoot it anyway, but the damage has been done and the fires can't be put out, and the refinery goes up in smoke.
この事態を一体どうしてくれるんだ。この製油所には何十万リッターという原油があるんだ。もしも全滅したら我が社は全て韓特捜隊の責任です。なんとかしてくれ。頼む。火の手から遠いタンクにオイルを移すことはできませんか。1個空にするのに30時間はかかるんだ。とても間に合わん。湾内で発砲したらどんなことになるか素人だって分かりそうなもんじゃないか。何が科学特捜隊だ。
Ide runs off, feeling guilty for what he essentially caused, while the crew splits up and looks for him, giving Hayata a chance to become Ultraman.
イデー！勝手な行動はやめろ！我々に協力して消火に努めるんだ！
Ultraman puts out the fires with his Ultra Water Beam. See, I told you they all started with Ultra. And he did not use this before or after any other monster attacks. Why? They find Ide, who says he's quitting the SSSP, but Cap lectures him out of it right before he passes out. In episode 14, the Pearl Defense Directive, spout monster Gamakugira attacks a truck containing many lovely pearls. This upsets Fuji, who happens to love pearls. It's her birthstone. It seems this is the reason pearls have become very rare and expensive.
お客様、どうも、はい、すみません。これと申しますのも、今年に入って、養殖真珠が全滅に近い打撃を受けたからでございます。
Gamakugira feeds on the pearls it finds, and the SSSP, after investigating, spots it and opens fire. The beast sprays the VTOL with its blowhole, which renders the jet corroded and inoperable, bringing them down. Hayata crashes, again. The monster then spots some ladies having a day at the beach. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Oh, what? Too stuck up for a monster, huh? Then they try a new tactic. Bait it out with explosives disguised as pearls. It eats the fake pearls, but instead of blowing up, it makes it stronger. Fuji finds Hayata injured but alive. He tells her to call the HQ and then launch the monster into the air with a missile. She reluctantly leaves and he becomes Ultraman. The crew use a missile, launching the monster into the sky, and Ultraman meets it in a head-on collision, destroying it. The pearls are now more abundant, cheaper, and Fuji gets her pearl necklace. And then some. In episode 15, Terrifying Cosmic Rays, a group of kids look at their drawings on the wall, most of which are kaiju. They laugh at one of them that looks silly to them. The boy decides to go draw some more, this time on a big pipe. He laments that he's not as good as his friends, and they come to tease him. Hey, lay off him, you jackals! It's okay, kid. True art is never understood in its own time. That night, a strange phenomenon happens. The aforementioned terrifying cosmic rays enter the atmosphere. The monster, named Gavadan, is brought to life because of said cosmic rays, and the crew attacks it. Despite it not being hostile. It doesn't even fight back. Great philosophy, guys. Shoot first, ask questions never.
The message of that movie is, all right, they're different, let's kill them.
It then sleeps. The military and crew stand guard until it wakes up. It then vanishes. The kids decide to help and redraw Gavadan, giving it some oomph. Seems solar rays had a hand in bringing it to life, which explains why it left when the sun went down. Gavadan comes back to life in its new form, and it falls asleep again. The kids want Gavadan to be more fierce next time. Wait, you want it to wreck the city? Are you kids out of your minds? So this is what kids did before video games. The next day it wakes up again, and of course, sleeps again. Riveting. This time the military moves in to attack, which wakes him up and pisses him off. Have I mentioned the military can be rock stupid sometimes? The kids see this and beg them not to kill Gavadan. The crew tries to get the kids to safety, but Hayata trips and falls into a nearby reservoir and becomes Ultraman. He doesn't kill it, but he takes it to a farm upstate where it'll be happy. I mean, to a place in outer space where it'll be happy. Gotcha.
泣くな子供たち。毎年7月7日の七夕の夜、きっとガバドンに会えるようにしよう。この星空の中で。
ガバドンも星になったのかしら、お星様に。七夕の夜、雨が降ったらどうなるんだよ。
That made water come out my eyes.
In episode 16, Science Patrol into Space, the crew prepares to launch their first rocket into outer space. Its mission? To seek out strange new worlds. I mean, go to Venus. Yeah, let's go to planets we already know instead of interesting new ones. Hayata follows in his jet, but suddenly the signal is cut off. By a Baltan. Yep, they're back. It seems they survived Ultraman's attack after his Spacian beam nearly wiped them out, and they set up home on a new planet. And they want revenge. Meanwhile, the Baltan appear before Professor Mori in the rocket and takes over his mind.
テレパシーだな。何？お前は重力バランスを思う通りに操れるというのか。
Meanwhile, Ide reveals a new weapon, the Mars 133. The crew tells Mori that they're on their way to save him, unaware that this is the Baltan's plan, and...
It's a trap!
While the crew is rescuing him, a separate attack force will head for Earth, and Ultraman can't be in two places at once. This is a problem.
気分でも悪いんですか?
Once the crew arrives, Alien Baltan 2 appears. Surely they'll succeed where the last one failed. Cap is out cold, so Hayata transforms. Ultraman tries to finish Baltan 2 Electric Boogaloo with his Spacium Beam, but it's got a new barrier which repels it. Looks like it's not going to fall for the same trick twice. Thankfully, Ultraman kills it with a new attack, the Ultra Slash. There, I got it right this time. Happy? The Ultra Slash is a devastating buzzsaw that splits him down the middle.
That, my friends, is gonna leave a mark.
Meanwhile, the other Baltans attack the Earth. Luckily, Ultraman can teleport to another location. The downside is it drains his life energy substantially. So, there's probably a reason he won't be doing that very often. In episode 17, Passport to Infinity, a man is working on a strange blue meteor rock when it starts hovering and he disappears. This man, Mr. Yesterday, which sounds like a Doctor Who spin-off, is an explorer, and the crew try to ascertain what happened to him. The ground suddenly shakes, and the crew find him outside on the ground. The rock is with him, but it suddenly flies off. This thing's got a mind of its own. The crew discover that another piece of the same meteor is held by Mr. Yesterday's colleague, Dr. Fukui. Meanwhile, the other one is found by another scientist. When studying the rock, it cracks open and traps him in some strange otherworldly dimension. A dimension not only of sight, of sound, but of mind. So putting these two rocks together could be extraordinarily dangerous. Who knows what could come out of it? Maybe a giant monster?
星野くん、ダメじゃないの。
これを一つにすると危ないんだよ。
そんなこと言ってごまかそうったってダメよ。さあ、帰りなさい。
後悔しても知らないからね。
なんとでもおっしゃい。
ねえ、本当に危ないんだ。一つにしちゃいけないんだよ。
わかったわかった。さあ、いらっしゃい。
僕はちゃんと調査してきたんだぞ。
何よ、どうしたの？話してったら。
怪獣だよ。
そんな手はもう古いわよ。
僕の言う通りにしないからだよ。
早く。
Well, don't that beat all? Meet fourth dimensional monster Bolton. Not to be confused with the Baltans from the last episode. The military moves in to stop it, but have no chance against its fourth dimensional warping powers. Hayata runs off and transforms, and I think you can all guess what happens next. In episode 18, Brother from Another Planet, a radioactive fog sweeps over Tokyo. Arashi and Ide go to investigate, but Fuji warns them it could be lethal. The team go to check it out, minus Hoshino, who's ordered to stay behind. It's okay, they got goggles on. I guess those are going to save them from the radiation. They spot a cloaked figure, and it's an alien. Shock. The alien then talks to them and introduces itself to the crew. He's Zarab from the 8th Galactic System. Zarab says he wishes to be the older brother to humanity and says it is speaking with them telepathically. Hoshino thinks Zarab is responsible for the fog. Smart boy. Zarab tries to put on the whole I come in peace bit by returning a lost rocket to Earth.
いやー、諸君、我々の兄弟。あ！
やめろ。君に尋ねたい。土星ロケットを誘導してきた理由は？
兄弟が道端で倒れてるのを見て、知らんふりができるかね。
But Cap is still not convinced, and he asks him to dispose of the fog engulfing the city. And sure enough, he can't be trusted, as Zarab brainwashes Ide, poses as Fuji, and sabotages the console. Zarab also targets Hayata and tells him he couldn't enslave the Earth with Ultraman in the way. This guy's done his homework. Zarab tries to take his beta capsule, but he doesn't find it on his person. Luckily, Hoshino sneaks in and brings his beta capsule back to him. Zarab shows up disguised as Ultraman and attacks the city, and the military fires on him. Hoshino can't believe that Ultraman has turned heel, and even worse, he can't free Hayata, so he cries. And wouldn't you know it, his magic tears cut the ropes. Oh, gimme a break! I've seen magical tears revive dead people before, but cut ropes? That's gotta be a first. Hayata tells Hoshino to get to safety while he retrieves his beta capsule. Hayata transforms, and now the real Ultraman is here to set things right. I like how they gave the fake Ultraman evil-looking eyes. Drink it in, Toku Faithful. It's the only time you'll see two Ultramen on screen together for a while. In episode 19, Demons Rise Again, the crew discover a time capsule buried 350,000 years ago. Ide, of course, is excited to see what's inside. Apparently no one around here's seen a horror movie before. Inside is a strange blue fluid and a metal reflective plate. Which Mountain Dew flavor is that, by the way? The crew takes it back to the lab for analysis, unaware that another container was unearthed by a construction dig and is hauled off in a dump truck. Later, the professor discovers the metal plate is some kind of document about what's in the capsule. Ide clumsily drops it under a lamp, and the projection shows the message clear as day. Meanwhile, the lab boys try everything to open the container with the blue stuff.
You know, men, when we want a job done right and we want it done quick, what do we need? More power! Darn right, more power.
Meanwhile, lightning strikes the area where the red container was buried, unleashing a giant monster. The big red monster, no, not him, this one, Red Fire Monster Vanilla, causes trouble. Well, long story short, the metal plate was a warning not to open the containers. The lab showers the blue container in light, and something begins to happen. Another monster is unleashed from the blue container. Whoops. Foam Monster Aberrus. Meanwhile, Vanilla and Aberrus meet face to face, but instead of hugging and catching up on old times, they decide they'd rather kill each other, so they duke it out. It's Spittin' Fire versus Crazy Foam. Who will win? No one, it seems, as Ultraman arrives to break it up.
Yattazo!
episode 20, Terror on Route 87, random attacks occur near an animal park on, you guessed it, Route 87. Earthquakes, flashing lights, and other mysterious goings-on happen near Mount Omuro Park. Cap, Hayata, and Arashi take the VTOL to investigate. They take a ski lift to the summit to talk to the guard who saw the mountain light up last night. Meanwhile, a strange boy enters the SSSP HQ and tells Fuji that the Highland Dragon Hydra is about to do something bad. Ide walks in and doesn't see anything. Neither does anybody else. Wait, are we doing a Sixth Sense thing here?
I see dead people.
Sure enough, later on the ground shakes, and what do you know? Hydra rises out of the mountain. The rock slide heads down the mountain and the team opens fire, but to no avail. Hydra flaps its wings, taking flight and spitting fire at them from the sky, so they make a run for it. It heads to Route 87 and causes more mayhem despite the best attempts to block off traffic there. Motorists stuck on the road are at the mercy of Hydra. The crew spots it and Cap executes Ultra Operation Number 2. Pretty sure that's just code for shoot the damn thing. It flies fast, but the crew keeps up and gets some missile hits in before Hydra swats Hayata and Arashi out of the sky. Arashi is awake, but Hayata is out cold. Arashi takes him to a makeshift med tent where he regains consciousness. Arashi has his moment of badass, driving a gas truck at Hydra and blowing it up. But all that does is piss Hydra off, so it chases him. Hayata manages to sneak off while the medics deal with other victims and transforms.
Ultraman! ヒドラを殺してはいけないわ。
あれ？ウルトラマンのやつわざとヒドラを逃がしたぞ。なぜスペシウム光線を発射しなかったんだ。
ウルトラマンには分かってたんだわ。ウルトラマン、ありがとう。
白鷺は乙女の化身だという伝説があるが、このヒドラも自動車事故で不幸な死を遂げた多くの少年たちの化身なのかもしれない。
ひき逃げをした運転手も自首して警察に捕まりました。
これでアキラ君も天国へ行けるわね。
うん、よかった。
キャップ、ヒドラは子供たちの守り神だったのかもしれませんね。遠い昔から。
うん。それにしてもだ、なぜ武藤君の姿が藤隊員の目にだけしか映らなかったんだろう。
それなんですよ。僕もずっと疑問に思ってたんですけどね。
結局純真な心の持ち主には普通の人には見えないものが見えるっていうことじゃないかしらね、キャップ。
やられたな、みんな。
Well, that's it for this edition. Come back next time for more Monster Mayhem, a return of yet another fallen foe, and the first two-parter in the series' history. And I'll see you in the land of light.
What a man, what a man, what a man, what a mighty good man. Say it again now. What a man.